Well, good evening, Chameleon Academy. Thank you very much for being here at this nice late hour. But look at what Peter's dealing with. That's beautiful weather over there, Peter.
Hey guys, I expected you to say hello Vietnam, good morning Vietnam, and this is exactly what we have here. We have just a noon time here, and I begged and prayed yesterday to get a really wonderful weather to show you how wonderful it is here when it's sunshine. It is of course very wonderful if it's there, there is a fog or if there's rain as well. But we are lucky to see very nice weather. I will show you and tell you more about that a little bit later.
Well, let's go ahead and just start. And by the way, everybody who is here, this is a question and answer session. And so go ahead and just put your questions in when they come up. I will ask Peter at an appropriate time. And for those of you who are watching the replay, this is happening live. Of course, it's nighttime here, but it's bright daytime where Peter is in Vietnam. And of course, we do this when the chameleons come out. So let's start off, Peter, and say, why Vietnam?
Well, look around. I will show you how beautiful it is here. Okay, so you can see we are in a little paradise. And why Vietnam? Well, it's of course a very valid question, which we asked ourselves too. Look, the issue is we all love chameleons, and we are here specifically for like fine tuning and really establishing the solid base, the most possibly solid base for their proper captive husbandry. And the issue is, of course, that the best captive husbandry is a naturalistic one. And me, myself, and of course, Bill, you, we are proponents of this philosophy and this like, I think, big movement in herpetoculture and specifically in chameleon husbandry, like for a decade maybe. We always say, hey, we need to copy paste in a meaningful way what is happening out there in the wild. Yeah. Which still do not answer the question why Vietnam. Now, the best thing would be, of course, to be out there in Madagascar or in Tanzania or in Kenya, of course, yeah, where the chameleons live naturally and they occur for millions of years and they interact with the environment this way. But there is a constraint, We see that in the last, let's say, 2 decades, we get more and more restrictions about both studies as well as obtaining the animals from the wild territories. And there is a very bad reason for that. If you have a farm in Madagascar, there is always a suspicion, which is in parts of the world, so it will not be now concrete, very true, that once you order the animals and you believe they are farm raised, they are like properly managed, they are collected in the wild proper way with all the paperwork, respecting the laws and respecting, of course, the interest of the animals and their protectional status and so on, you end up, sorry to be like so candor, you end up getting anyway wild caught animals because the farms are just, in some cases, not in all, but in some cases, made as a, cover for half legal, half illegal collecting,
Yep.
So instead of getting very healthy, young specimens, like 5-7 months old, strong ones, you get adults and they are not captive bred, they are wild caught and they are full of parasites. And of course, due to this, even the status and I would say the reputation of this type of activities is going down.
Yep. And by the way, everybody, we need to be understanding because there may be some breaks in the connection. Peter is in a rural area, and so if we get
home country, there is a constraint for that. While once you have the animals in another country which does not harbor these species, yeah, then there is no way how to get them from the wild. So we are here in Vietnam for one of these reasons, because we have selected an area which is equal in the climatic conditions to Madagascar. We have 3 facilities. I've shown you today now one, and then we can maybe organize another meeting some weeks or months later. I can show you the other ones as well, which copy the natural conditions in Madagascar. Specifically where we are now, the place here, and you can see how beautiful it is. It is a hilly landscape around the city of Dalat, which is the southernmost outcrop of the Annamite Mountains that run in Vietnam from this northern tip and up to here. And we are now at the elevation of 1,650 meters. It means 5,500 feet. And the climagram of this area is exactly same like Ranomafana, which you visited just about 2 months ago.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you look at of course there is a variance, there is some variability of the climate, which is proper, which is correct, yeah, but the patterns of the climate are actually same. So same as you see dense fog, like in a pea soup, as you say, you know, in Ranomafana. The same applies to this area. We sometimes get to the farm only at noontime because until 11 we have so dense fog that we anyway cannot see anything. Okay, whole night we have coming and going fog here, and at the daytime we have it now very nice and sunny, but the temperature is around 27 degrees. Okay, it means like 27. It's like not even 80. Yeah, and this is the maximum we have. So the climate is exactly the same, and this is why we are here, because we want the animals to thrive. We want the animals to be exposed to exactly the same conditions, not doing any adjustment, you know, in providing some electric devices and so on, as we are forced to do in an indoor captive husbandry, but to really let them thrive in the same climate. And what you maybe cannot see in detail, if you see on the opposite side, there is a forest on the top of the hill, and all the hillside is actually covered with a tea plantation. And on the opposite side here, right behind me, just next to the black barrier, there is a coffee plantation.
Coffee,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So
Chameleons
we are
love
really
coffee plantations.
like, you know, it's also the proof, not only that we have good taste, you know, and that we of course will later on offer like chameleon tea and chameleon coffee, but if these plants are growing and thriving here, yeah, it is the proof that the climate is correct. The climate is exactly as we need it, and this is why we are here. You cannot imagine how hard it is actually to but you, Bill, you can imagine, yeah, because you had some experience in that, how hard it is in a third world country to establish something like that. You cannot imagine how long it took to fight all the terrible paperwork, you know, how to cope with the locals, how to work with officials. The capital city of Hanoi is from here 2,000 kilometers. If we need something, we need to get to a plane and get 2,000 kilometers far, you know. And how much money it costs. Of course, Vietnam is a territory which is a little bit like more reasonable in some prices, but it is offset with some extra expenses on the other side. Yeah, so it was a huge amount of time, huge amount of work and effort, and huge amount of money to make this happen. But now we are here having 2 hectares in a natural environment which is equal to Ranomafana. We have the luxury of having really natural conditions, and I will be so happy in a couple of minutes to show you how it works in the cages that I've already indicated. Some of you might have seen already some of the cages in some of my YouTube's videos and so on. But how nice it is to be able to provide to the animals an environment which is nearly equal to what they actually face in the wild. So this is why we are here.
All right, I have another question, but how about we go and see some of these cages while you answer?
Yes, I will do. I will explain. Yeah. Okay. Of course, I am a man. Yeah. So you please just push me because I can focus only on one thing. But anyway, just for you to demonstrate that we really need to fulfill some requirements. What you can see right behind me over there. Yeah. This is a huge facility for quarantine. This is our quarantine facility that we can use also for some little breeding projects for raising some babies and so on. Yeah, and this is actually one facility we construct some more there, but the main heart of what we do is here above us, and I will invite you for a walk through it. So let me introduce you to the gate of our chameleon paradise. I will close it now. Okay.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
whoa.
3, 2, 1, go. Let us go inside. In this area, we have four big complexes. This is one on my left-hand side, one on my right-hand side, and two above. Each consists of 12 cages, which have the dimension of 3 by 3 by 3 meters. It means it is 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet. And let us see how they look like. Of course, for safety reasons, we have, of course, the cages with a double layer. Yeah, if anything happens, the animals escape. They have still one layer to escape, which is impossible because we control them every single day, actually several times. Yeah, and this is why we have so many fences and so on, because this is not only a requirement, but it's also for our safety and for safety of the animals. So we open the second layer and go inside. Look, this is the path behind me, yeah, which actually leads us to the individual cages, yeah, and each of the cage is actually not like a cage, but it is like a, I don't know, like spatio, because you can, and I invite you now to do so, you can enter it. You can go inside of the cage, okay, and enjoy the environment as it is actually in the wild. Look, what we can see here, we have a natural ground, which is grown over by the grass level. Then we have a bush layer here, and up to 10 feet high, we have actually also the tree level. Of course, we needed to grow it, and despite of the fact we are in a tropical country, which is very nice, and actually the animals, all the plants grow here like hell, specifically in the rainy season. Then we anyway needed to plant everything. So you can see here, this is a mango tree, 2 years old, yeah, and this is a sim tree here, and we have a hibiscus plant over there. We have a peach tree over here, and as you can see, we have a happy chameleon just above our head, enjoying the like the horizontal branch system, which is also extremely important for them. What we found out, and you know it also from the captive environment, the arrangement of the branches in the vertical layer is extremely important. They love it, and it actually enables them really to move. Yeah, the old concept that we were all taught before, that the chameleon cage must be oriented like standing, yeah, is actually something that we have already discussed with Bill, something that we need to start like also questioning, because the chameleons mostly do not need to go up and down, despite of the fact they do, but they mostly move in a horizontal level. So to provide living or dead branches in the horizontal level is really crucial. What we do here, we use a kind of liana here, which grows very nicely, so that we can even wrap the horizontal branches in the liana itself and make it even more green. So this is the concept of the cage. If you look how it is constructed, you can see here we have a mesh which has the openings of about half inch, yeah, which is all around. In about 20% of the cages, we use a finer mesh because we go for keeping of smaller animals and of babies so that they do not escape, of course. But we went as big as reasonable for the purpose which we also need, that is critical for the keeping of chameleons, for their welfare, which is the air exchange. You know, the air is penetrating these cages absolutely freely. Yeah, and as you have seen when I showed you around, we are actually in an area which is permanently exposed to winds. The winds are not too super strong, but they are steady. They are very stable. This is why they even made here several wind power stations. Yeah, one is just like about 100 meters from here. They do not operate too much so that they do not disturb our chameleons and us. But it is again the proof that we have airflow all the day, and I can say that the chameleons simply not love it. They are absolutely excited out of it. And believe me, I know the chameleons for 40 years of my research in the wild. Yeah, and I can really confirm they behave same as I know them from the wild in the cage like that. Of course, we use plants of different kinds, and some of the cages are shaped more open, like this one. If you see, there is a very open space which is exposed to sun on the top, and some will be more overgrown. The big advantage of these big cages is that the chameleons really do have a choice here. You know, in some cases, and we know it, we have restrictions and constraints which are technical, which are tied with the availability of space indoors and so on. But this was for me actually also the step forward in the chameleon husbandry, and say, hey, what is then the limit? I preach as you do the general recommendation that actually the bigger the cage, the better. Yeah. So I went one or maybe 10 steps forward, and then made these huge cages, which really prove that our approach is correct. Because if the chameleon can have a choice, then he is like making it freely. While if he squeeze them in a space which is just 1 cubic meter, yeah, just single-digit number of square feet, yeah, we by definition cannot provide all the microclimates that we need, and we do some compromises which may have and indeed have negative influence on their well-being. Yeah. So this is what we do now. If we go a little bit more to the technicalities, of course you will ask me, maybe, or some would ask me, how do you feed them in such a huge cage? Yeah. So there are 2 tricks. Yeah. One is, and you know that I'm actually under normal circumstances against feeders. Yeah, against feeder cups. Guys, I cannot go without it here. Yeah. If I want to control at least part of the diet, I need to go for this one. Yeah. For this one. We have selected specific material that is made of composed material, which is stable to UV and does not yeah, my assistant gives me one more, yeah, or a smaller size. We when we need to control the medicaments, when we need to control some vitamins and minerals that we provide them, we use this one, because this is the only way how we can really get the food close to the chameleons and feed them what we can control.
Hey, Peter, we have a question.
Please.
Do you have kudzu there? Is that the plant that's growing?
Which one?
Kudzu?
This one? Yeah.
I'm not. I am not sure.
Which one? I can let us make it short. I can provide you a list of main plants that we have here at the end, so that we do not lose time now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The higher stuff is mango trees. This is I have not the name now in my head, and all this is actually sweet potato liana. Yeah.
Okay.
And we have, and frankly, this is the second layer that we do. I with a big nostalgia and love, I remembered my grandfather, who loved loved gardening. He was an engineer, but he loved gardening, and he was a huge fan of beans. So he had a vineyard, but he had beans in the vineyard. He had he planted maize, yeah, but in every maize line he had also beans, and I like remembered that. And when I came here, and you can imagine how it looked like when it was empty, yeah. I said, okay, the only way how we can quickly get it green, yeah, is to overgrow it with beans, and we did so, yeah.
Okay.
So this is one thing. The constraint is about the food that I wanted to tell you. And the rest of the food is actually, and we have made some quantitative analysis. Imagine that more than 50% of what they eat, they hunt themselves, because the naturalistic environment here, which is really consisting of, you can see it, it is a real soil here. Yeah, this terra rossa. It is actually the same type of soil on which even most of the Madagascar and African species thrive, which is a volcanic soil. It's actually volcanic ash. Yeah, and having this environment absolutely natural, we have beetles that hatch from the soil. Yeah, we have crickets that live here naturally. We have lots of other animals, and I will speak about one very spectacular thing, which are snails. We have them here naturally. We do not need to breed them. They are here naturally, and they contribute more than 50% to their diet. So this is also
what do you raise there? What do you use as a staple feeder?
Yeah, we have two we have two stable foods that we use for transporting like the necessary stuff, which is first, of course, crickets. Yeah, no normal crickets. We use Gryllus assimilis that grows here quite nicely, and we have a huge BSF farm. I do not want to go this direction, but we have a BSF farm that produces about 40 tons of BSF each week. Okay. So we have the luxury to take the pupas, yeah, bring them here, because we do not breed them here. This is too cold for BSF. Yeah, we have them in our other facility in Dong Nai, which is in the lower layers of Vietnam, where the climate equal actually to Nosy Be, Ambanja, and Ambilobe. Yeah, so the northeast Madagascar. And from there we bring pupa here, and we put them into small boxes like that. Yeah. And they hatch and go out, and the chameleon catch them. So this is the staple that we actually provide. We go further. We started to breed some of the Sheffer beetles. We started to breed some of the May or June beetles that we have here. But we have the luxury of the huge variability of the offered insects, because they penetrate very easily the big openings of the cage, and the chameleon rely by more than 50% on the natural food they catch by themselves. And it is actually consisting mainly, as we know, as in the wild, from flying insects, from pollinators. It means flies, bees, wasps, and small flying pollinator beetles.
And for those wondering, BSF is black soldier flies.
Black soldier fly, exactly. Thank you for that. So this was one of the cages. Let us walk a little bit through the facility. We, of course, do not try to make it only functional and full of greenage and full of like good environments that are quite flexible and practical. We want to make it also very beautiful. Yeah, and you can see here, I don't know whether you see it, we have a spider here, which is natural occurrence here. And of course here, this type of plant, it's also good for our consumption.
Yes.
Eat it also. It's organic. It's absolutely organic. Just for your information, in our BSF farm, we do not actually focus on the producing of BSF for protein and fat, as the most of them do, the farms do, but we produce a complex, very unique formula, organic fertilizer. And this fertilizer we use in our farm too. Yeah. This is why
Okay.
we have the greenage so beautiful. And this is what I told you at the beginning. This is actually a bean plant. Yeah. This
We
is.
need to see a Parsons chameleon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let us try to see. There was one which is going just for shedding. So let
Okay.
us see. So this is a cage where one single Parsons chameleon lives. Yeah, again, 3 meters by 3 meters by 3 meters. We shedded it. We tried to make it as close to a canopy as possible. And I will show you one. He's right here. Can you see him?
I can see a shape in there.
Okay, so from here,
Okay, we can see him now.
yeah, he is now shedding. So he's extremely nervous, you know. He's watching you actually. This is a green giant Parsons chameleon. Let him like be in peace now. I will show you some other ones
Yes.
which do not shed, but again, with a little bit of humor and like sarcasm, I said that if it comes to the size of the cage, once you hardly can find the chameleon, this size is okay. And
Yes, I agree.
This is what I try to show you. The chameleons are in absolutely fabulous condition. And I can tell you, we even experiment with the parasites that they have, because they were all imported actually about half a year ago from Madagascar. And I can tell you that the levels of infestation of parasites, yeah, are so tiny that we do not treat them. Yeah, you know that if you assess the parasites, yeah, there are like 2 layers in which you identify the species, yeah, and then you identify the level of the infestation, yeah, the level of how much of them are actually in the body of the chameleons, and most of the parasites are actually to one cross only, yeah. So it is pointless to treat them actually, yeah. And here we have a proof that a Ranomafana area is something that is nicely. Sorry, I need to crawl through it. Here, can you see this
Yes.
wonderful
Okay.
guy behind me?
Oh, is that a yellow lip?
Yeah, this is yellow lip male of the Parsons chameleon. Very nice,
Very nice.
very nice guy. Now he's nicely blue, and look how active they are, because the temperature now is about 25 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so they are nicely active. Once the temperatures drop down, they of course become more lethargic and sit and then they don't do nothing, just wait until the temperatures again raise. Yeah, they do absolutely nice here. Just enjoy. If you can see it, I hope I move the camera in a way that you can see the beauty of this chameleon. And again, they do very nicely here. We have made some experiments with cohabitation here, and I have to tell you that even for Parsons, which are quite calm, and you know it, yeah, a cage like this is of course an absolute no for 2 males. Yeah, it's impossible. And even outside of the breeding season, even male and female in such a huge cage are not happy. We need to separate them. Yeah, it is a huge animal. We know even from the wild assessments that they are really quite solitary, and for their size, yeah, they live in a densities which are like single individuals per hectare. Okay, so a hectare is 100 meters by 100 meters. It means 300 feet by 300 feet. Yeah. And this is usually less than one specimen for such a huge area. So it is logical, if you squeeze them in these tiny cages, 10 feet by 10 feet by 10 feet, that it is not enough space for them. Yeah. Of course, during the mating season, where they tend to be close to each other, the males guard the females. It's absolutely fine. But now we really keep them only for the purpose of mating together. Otherwise, they have the luxury to live in the cage next to each other so that they have a visual contact if they want. Yeah. But separately so that they do not stress each other. We found out very simply. We put them together. Yeah. And within 2 days, we had them always crawling not on the internal equipment of the cages, but on the mesh. They crawled on the mesh, and one was always up there in one corner, and the other one was crawling in the diagonally opposite corner. So they tended to really make as much space as they could. Yeah. Despite of the fact of look how dense the vegetation is. Now they see each other and they want it not to be together. So this is again.
We do have a question.
Please.
Mike is asking, what separation is there between enclosures to prevent fighting?
Look, there is one trick. As I showed you, I will show you here. It will be more visible. The cages are separated from each other by the same mesh as separates them from the outside world. Okay, but they are very densely overgrown by these lianas. You see, so it builds actually a not solid, but partly penetrable wall, and because the mesh is painted green, it builds actually a visual barrier quite efficiently. Yeah, so they can see each other. Yeah, but we have really double checked many times that this barrier is enough, and it is enough. It is enough. I'll show you then is also panther chameleons and oshognesses and verrucosus and ostalets. They, even if the males are on the opposite side of the barrier, they do not fight. They just impose to each other. Yeah, which is okay, which is absolutely okay, because this is part of their absolutely natural behavior. Yeah, they can just play this game of communicating, but they even do not attempt. They do not attempt to attack each other over the barrier. They just simply stay on the opposite side and perceive it as their safe zone. This is also for me a big learning actually, because we know that. Many chameleon species, better light. Many chameleon species enjoy the wonderful space here. Many chameleon species, even in the wild, tend to live on specific spots. I remember one occasion. I remember many occasions, but the one which was for me really alarming. I met a female of the high mountain chameleon in Yemen. It was Chameleon orientalis, in a wonderful area next to the capital of Sana'a in Yemen. It was in the beginning of this millennium. I was lucky to be in Yemen 3 consecutive years after each other. And I found the female at the same branch for 3 consecutive years after each other. And I knew that this is this female because she had amputated tail. Yeah. So it was very clear that it was this very specimen. And the learning that I mentioned that I made here is the chameleons know very well. They know perfectly their environment. Yeah, they are used to it. They know it in every detail, and they know where they are. They become nervous when we put them to another cage. Yeah, they get a little bit unsecure when you make some sudden changes in their cages. They are very sensitive to the environment because of their slowness and because of their visual sights and so on. It makes sense. Yeah, they are perfectly familiar with what is the environment which they live in, and they perfectly know how to thermoregulate, how to find the basking spot up there more exposed to sun, how to hide in the shade as did our friend now, and so on. Yeah. So it just says how sensitive we must be towards this gentle giants, the beautiful animals that seem to be so strong, but they are so like gently tied to their environment that they even know by heart their space. And we do not only make it nice for chameleons, we make it nice also for people. We have the luxury that behind this hill over there, we have a huge farm for orchids, and we sometimes get from them some orchids, so we decorate the space with orchids as well. Look, this is another cage for a parson that does not get bored by parsons, but again, yeah, very important, this layer of horizontal branches. They absolutely love it. If they do not have it, they do not move that much. Yeah, they tend to limit their movement, and it was also an eye opener for me. When you have only vertical branches, yeah, they tend to sit on one spot and go up and down for half a meter, yeah, and feel pissed somehow. You know, you watch them for weeks, and you say they're somehow not happy. Then you add these horizontal branches, yeah, and they start to move. They start. I mean, they do not run, yeah, of course, yeah. They investigate very carefully their environment. They exactly know where to be in the morning. They exactly know where is the best place to sleep. Yeah, they exactly know where they get the most fog. Yeah, and this is what we need to take into consideration also when we have them in captivity. For instance, yeah, when people say, "Oh, I move my chameleon every day out and inside." Well, I cannot say this is a good idea. Yeah, or I always refurbish. It is part of the enrichment. I always try to make to challenge him with the new elements of the plants and the branches in the cage. Hey guys, this is not based on my experience in from these huge cages. This is not what they like. It is something that makes them nervous and feel not secure enough. Yeah, and let us now try to find the chameleon. Whether we find it 2 hours ago, he was here. Yes, so let us scroll again through the environment.
We got another question here. Oh,
And
beautiful.
we have one here again, a yellow giant, a wonderful male, feeling nice, very healthy. You can see they are not overfed. We do not really push them to be heavy. Yeah, we let them eat as much as they want, but do not overfeed them with abundance. They feed what they can catch, and partly what we give them to supplement them and so on. And look how the animals are also naturally reacting. When I post some pictures, when they open the mouth on me, it is not made up. I insist they stay wild. Yeah, it is also a very practical stuff. You know, they get used to us in a way that they know we do not harm them. Yeah, but habituation, it means to make them calm, to make them habituated, is, in my humble opinion, not what is good. At least for one practical reason: if I need to administer anything to them, I need them to open the mouth easily. Yeah, and he will look. Yeah, he opens the mouth without, and I will not molest him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they open the mouth absolutely without any problem. While when they are used to you, then you need to force open the mouth, and this is not a good idea in the case of the chameleons. Look how beautiful they are. And now I listen to the question while
Yes.
you
Okay. We have a
observe the
question.
chameleons here.
Snookins is asking, are you working with Daramensis there, or are you mainly working with
No.
Madagascar?
We do not have any Tanzanian ones because of the prosaic reason, because we cannot get them legally. Yeah,
Yep.
Tanzania is for more than 10 years closed. Yeah, and unluckily, the remaining population in Europe and in the United States is so tiny, it's very hard to get them, and it is very hard to get the proper paperwork. Because if you want really fully legally to import them, you need not only to get the proof of their offspring in captivity, but you need to track their lineage up to the moment when you get the proof of the origin of the original imported animals, which is sometimes very hard. We plan for it for the future, yeah, because we have made lots of investment. And we I will be very like open to you. One of the reasons, of course, is a commercial one. We want to provide huge amounts of captive bred chameleons, which will be absolutely parasite free, happy and captive raised in an environment that equals the wild. It means once you guys get them, yeah, you will get same quality as you get from Madagascar, but without any disease. Yeah, and
Nice.
this is our ambition. Yeah, and well, I will be very frank. We will let you pay for it, but the value for at least for those of you that have made some imports of wild animals is immense. You know how many people struggle then with getting them free of parasites, getting animals that you do not know their age, they do not know their origin, and so on. So we want to close this gap with breeding projects in this facility as well.
And how many species are you working with there?
We have nowadays 12 species here.
Yep.
Yeah. So let us go further.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
us enjoy the corridor. Yeah. And again, like the lianas, and below we have some orchids here. Yeah. And we have here the 1-year-old layer of beans that I thank to my grandfather. This all actually here is beans. They do such a good service, and even if their leaves die, and they make it a little bit like looking dirty, it is still absolutely okay because they provide the necessary shade. But they do not shade it fully. Yeah, they shade it just partly. And here again, I wanted to show you some spiders, but now it's not here. I even forgot to show you my good friend. I have a very good friend, the golden web Nephila spider, which is local here, So I have it here. They do not interact with the chameleons. It's outside of the cage for two reasons. Because I want the chameleon not to eat it, and I want also the spider to feel safe. Yeah. So now look, we will be quick to see a wonderful male of
Oh, yeah.
Purcifer verrucosus. Who knows this species from the wild? I'm sorry not to have a nice angle, but enjoy its view. Yeah. Who know this species from the captivity, you will know that they usually turn brown and they do not get these wonderful colors. Guys, we have had with Bill lots of discussions last week about the necessity of really like revisiting and reinforcing the importance of the UV light. Yeah, guys, we are here at the same space like Ranomafana. It means if you measure the UVI now, you will measure 14 because we have noon. Okay, and you see the chameleons do not expose themselves to sun; they sit in the shade. But you have the UV from the early morning until the evening. UV is sometimes too much simplified to be believed to have the function mainly for the production of the vitamin D3, which is true, which is a crucial function of it. Yeah. However, it's not the only one. UV has 3 layers. It's UVA, UVB, and UVC. UVA and B interact as a moderator and inhibitor of the production of vitamin D3. However, the UVC is a strong disinfectant. So if you want to have the cages actually clean, yeah, you cannot use UVC artificially because it will be too strong. It will kill your animals. It is cytotoxic. But in the tiny amounts which are contained in the natural sunlight, yeah, it cleans the cages actually from the germs. Yeah, there's no fungi. You cannot see any fungi, any like pathogens here because it is windy, it is full of air, and it is fully exposed to the UV rays. Now, when we enter this space, I show you here, we have a finer mesh. Yeah, this one is the concept where we have 3 smaller cages, yeah, which are 2 meters wide, 1 meter deep, and 2 meters high, for smaller species or for the occasions where we need a little bit more control over the animals. And I will show you one more trick that we do specifically for the raising of smaller animals, nurturing them, and for the care for look, this is a phalaenopsis, also a very nice orchid here. Yeah, for the care for gravid or post gravid and females, we do not move them to another cage, because then I would actually attack my own statement that they know very well their environment. What we do, we put in the center of their environment, okay, another cage like this. Yeah, it is about 2 meters high. It contains a living plant. This is actually a coffee tree inside. Yeah, and they can stay within their cage. Yeah, where they are familiar with the environment and eat enough, be more controlled, or even, as we can say here, yeah, lay eggs in a natural substrate, which is here a mixture of the soil and sand. Yeah.
So
So I
what
do
is the
not know what
purpose, Peter? What is the inspiration behind this? Are you is this for research or a commercial?
Yeah, look, because it is really a huge investment, and it's actually a, I would say, one substantial part of my life mission. I would say it like that. Yeah, we try to make it interdisciplinary. I will show you one more wonderful male, how they look like. Oh my goodness, he's look how aggressive they are. Come on.
He's
Yeah,
not going to
yeah,
cooperate.
exactly same wild, like in the wild. Okay, so meet our nice purple ambanja. I will put him on a branch. Maybe he will be more reasonable to share his beauty with us. Can you see him?
Yes. Although is
Wonderful
that's
specimen.
some banja?
Look how bad they are. Look how quick they are if they go up the branches, you know. And you see he's absolutely healthy. Look at his hemipineal bulges. We have now like them actively mating, so the hemipenis bulges are also quite impressive. And for pardalis, we have found out that actually cohabiting one male, even with several females in a very densely planted cage, is absolutely fine. They do fine. We only do the luxury that we do not force them to go close to each other. Yeah. However, they feel absolutely fine. They feed. They establish the distances amongst them. So for the panther chameleon, the cohabitation in these huge cages, not in the small ones in captivity, I need to stress it, yeah, is limitedly possible. Anyway, for their luxury, we sometimes separate them, and we sometimes use this trick of separating them in within their environment in a smaller, more controllable space, where we can more control what they are eating and where they lay the eggs. You can imagine what a disaster it is if we and we see the animals every single day, and we have installed some cameras also, yeah, to know what they do. But sometimes the females appears on a branch, and it has the head
Yeah.
full of mud, you know, and smiling at us and say, and you do not know where I have laid my eggs, you know. And now try to find them, okay? Here, all around,
Uh-huh.
they can be wherever wherever you want. Go and dig. Yeah, we have found all so far, but it's a challenge. So now, getting back to your question, Bill. Look, it is all interdisciplinary. So it is a breeding facility that should produce hundreds of healthy and nearly naturally raised chameleons for the pet trade, for the community, so that the access to healthy, nice, absolutely legal, yeah, and with proof of origin animals is there. We face even a danger that Madagascar will do one day the same what Tanzania did, and we get we get stranded. Yeah, this is what we want to prevent. So this is one of the reasons. The second, of course, my passion for observing the chameleons, to finding out this tiniest thing. Yeah, it is a research center. We do experiments here. We do them in a controlled but nearly natural environment. Yeah, and I will share some of the things. Frankly, I will share all of them in the course of the years. Yeah, I cannot tell you every single result of our research or preliminary research immediately, but I will share because this is why I do it. Yeah, this is my mission. So I will share. Some of the issues we wait for confirmation. Some we still conduct the experiments. Some will run. The experiments will be run for a very long time. So this is a research station specifically focused on the biology of the chameleon and for the implications of our learning to captive environment. Yeah, okay. And on top of it, it is actually a touristy point. We do have people that are interested in these animals, and it looks like a small zoo. Okay, so we do lots of education here. We do lots of like tour guiding, be it to schools, to students, to just people that come along, because this area is actually a touristy one. It is famous through many issues, through coffee, through tea, from Dalat, which is just behind this hill, a city. I don't know how many percentage, maybe 50% of all flowers sold in Europe are sent actually from this area here, because it's very nice for growing plants. As you can see, plants and bloom here, and you just plant them, and they like make you happy with their wonderful flowers. So it is also an education and touristy point. In between, despite of the fact we exist only for about half year in this phase with animals, and that we have already hosted 2 PhD students that collected substantial material for their PhD studies here on this facility, and will get their degree and publish their findings, and then we will participate on that as well. So it is really quite a complex stuff.
All right. Any chance we could see Kaluma O'Shaughnessy?
Yes, sure. But it's on the opposite side. I will take the luxury of showing you how actually a wonderful Ankarami bear male should look like.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah. Sometimes, I post pictures and I see myself saying, hey, if I post this picture, people will say I have manipulated it. Guys, I have not. They are so beautiful. Look, I will catch it also for you. They are usually relatively calm and nice, but look how beautiful the Ankarami bear are. Yeah, the orange red color of the males. They are actually not pink when they are sexually active. Yeah, they tend to be red orange with these blue markings on their casque. They are so beautiful.
Beautiful. How did you decide what species to work with?
Yeah, part of this decision was a decision, and part of this decision, you see how naturally they behave. It's like in the wild.
Yeah.
You catch it. Yeah. They like allow you to manipulate a little bit, and once you release them, they just go their way. Wonderful. So look, it is always mix between your wish and desire and what is actually possible and what is available. There are quotas. The quotas are like booked by many importers and so on. So it is not that you say, okay, I want to have 15 O'Shaughnessy and 20 Parsons and I will get them. No, it is a mix, yeah, between what you want, what is available, and frankly, what they force you to take because
Yeah.
otherwise they do not get rid of it. Okay, so we
Uh-huh.
get some animals that we actually did not want to have. Some I will be very open. For instance, we did not want to have so many verrucosus. But I'm so happy that we have got them because it's such a wonderful species. The only trick is you need to provide them with what they need. And if you do, they are so beautiful and so nice that I'm very happy that I get more familiar with this species. But this is the answer. Yeah. So on the course of the years, we will keep again in the combination what we can, what we want, and what we will like be successful to produce, of course. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people here who really like Ustaleti. So if you were forced to take
I will
that,
show you Ostaletais as well.
well,
Okay. So
we've got this group of people this grassroots group of people that just love Ustaleti.
you know, like Ostaleta is such an impressive species.
Oh, yeah.
It is deeply underestimated in captivity. And again, I have to say, like the Ostalet is a victim of too small cages. If they are kept, and you know them, you know, from the wild bill, yeah, and I think you kept them as well. They are such a good temper animals, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are big, yeah, so they get used to it. Not that you habituate them, but they actually they say, hey, I ignore you, you know, I'm noble. I let you live in my space,
Yeah.
and they are so noble and so nice, but they need space. If they do have space, then it's fine. So this is one of the Austerlitz cages. They're a little bit more exposed. You see, they are on the margin of the heavily forested area. I have seen one here in the morning. Oh, okay. I see a female. Wait a little bit. I show you. Look. Can you see her?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is the lady, and again, in huge cages, Austerlets can live together. Here you can see the female, yeah, which is actually gravid. She has get the gravid coloration about 3 days ago, and I will no need, yeah. I will show you the male. The male is right there. I will use my stick and cry a little bit. Can you see the male now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's just in front of you. Wonderful, huge male. This is he sits quite high. We will see some more in another cage, but this is a wonderful species. And look, they are not boring at all with their outfit. You know, they are beautiful animals. Really, they change the colors. They are not sometimes Germans. They call them brown chameleon. Yeah, because they are brown. Well, they have some shades of brown, but they have this rusty brown pattern on the cheeks and change the color as well. And they are simply impressive with their nobility and with their huge size. Yeah, they are really wonderful.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about Usaleti in Madagascar is of all the species, that is the one who didn't care if it was noonday sun and there were no trees around. It would just be walking around the ground. It just doesn't care.
Yes, Bill, that's absolutely correct. The trick is, once you see Ostalet walking on the ground, he is moving from one spot to the other. So it is not that he is voluntarily on the sun. Yeah, he's on the sun just because he now needs to move from one tree to another one. Otherwise, you can see the two I showed you were in shade, and there's another male. Look right here, and again, yeah, he enjoys actually the shade of a young tree of mango. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they are really very hardy. They can really live in like big variety of environments, and this is a species which has maybe the highest span of inhabited altitudes also in Vietnam, because you find them on the sea coasts. I remember I have found in Ambilobe I found a female ostalet sitting just like 1 foot from a male of Pardalis. Yeah, they live in the same environment. In some areas, very strangely, they do not live together. Like, for instance, a Nosibe. Nosibe has no ostalets. Yeah. What is the reason? We don't know. Yeah? But in many cases, they live in the same ones. But then you find them also in Antananarivo, yeah, which is very high in the mountains, and even above you can find some high in the hills of Marojeji and so on. So it is quite impressively flexible and adaptable species. Now the male is a little bit moving. Let me show you again his beauty. You see him?
Okay, so we have Dean is asking, so you're saying in a 10 by 10 by 10 enclosure that you can have 1.1?
Yes, in Ostalet's case, you can. You need to have it really like densely vegetated, which is stupid not to do if you have the luxury. Yeah, you can, and then they do not show any like signs of stress. They are fine. Yeah, you have seen a gravid female set about 1 meter away from a male. They, once they live together, they not only get used to their environment as such, but they also get used to each other. Yeah, and while in Parsons, the distance is so important because they live really in very undense environments. The case of Ostalet is different. The females are very efficient in showing the males what is their preference, what is their status, and the males are very knightly noble, to treat them like ladies, yeah, not to force them to anything. Once they are ready, they mate with them, yeah. Once they say, "Hey guy, I'm great," they go away of the beating track. And here we have also a wonderful male. Look, they are not boring at all in their colors and so on.
I like that view.
Yeah, wonderful male, greenish colors.
We can't just, we can see the tail. Almost.
Let me go closer. Yeah, and I'm sorry, guys, that you need to adjust. Yeah, but please believe me. This is how they should behave. This is how they should look like. Yeah, this is actually, sorry, this is of course not Ostalet. This is Verrucosus. Yeah. But
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, look like beautiful they are.
Yeah.
You can chase him a little bit down. I have to say, sorry, I will use the camera now to chase him a little bit down to get better view of him. Yeah. And I have to say that even this species, yeah, now you can see him a little bit better. Yeah. They are really very prone to
All right, everybody, just hang tight. He's out in the middle of nowhere, so there may be some signal disruption, but he should be back should be within seconds. So just hang tight, and we'll ask if he's got brevicorn. We'll see if we can get a list of the species he's working. Okay, we got something from someone who's there. Not at the moment. We will work on them once we have the chance. Talking about brevicorn. Vaughn King is saying, is this a veiled? No, this is a vericosus. These are only chameleons from Madagascar. So, although, yes, looks kind of like a veiled. But we, okay, guys. Peter says he's got a plan for this. So he's just going to change out some batteries. And so just hang tight. He will be back. He warned me that this could happen. And so there we go. We just hang tight here. And I'm going to be asking, boy, with all of those females, he will have a whole lot of eggs. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with having hundreds of chameleon babies. And so just think about the logistics of doing that. If you've got the large cages, well, then you can raise them in the same cage. You don't want to be mixing them. So you need a large cage for every bloodline of Pardalis. And so that's a logistical nightmare. James says, "Oh goodness, I got to get another cup of coffee." Hey, Von King, welcome, and Toan, very one of the helpers there. Excellent. He's back. Yeah.
Good. This is what I said that might happen. So let us run to Oshognes cage to see them because they are really worth seeing.
Oh yeah.
They
While
do
you're doing
so
that,
well here, Bill. It is unbelievable. It is really like the climate is exactly Ranomafana, and they love it. And they are really typical Kalumas. They don't bask that much, They are really shade-loving species. We have a male here. So let us see whether we will be able to see him. He was in the morning a little bit high. Sorry. Let me see whether he did not move, and he did move. So I asked my assistant to find him for us, and I'm ready in the meantime to answer some questions.
All right. Well, when is Toan there?
Toan is not here, unluckily. He drove yesterday about 10 hours, and he is half dead now.
Okay. Well, here's a question. You are going to be having hundreds and hundreds of babies, and you will obviously wanting to be keeping bloodlines separate because that's important. How are you going to manage the logistics of so many different groups of babies?
Okay. Look, Bill, if we are able to do these humongous cages for big species and for big specimens, we will have like 2 ways, and still we do not have babies. We just wait now for some first of ours to hatch after half a year, because we get some eggs immediately after the import. So the technique is as follows. We will try to utilize some of the cages with the final mesh to see whether in a very densely overgrown cage the cohabitation is possible. Okay. I'm negative, but I will try. I think it will not be a good approach. But we have already bought about 300 small cages, okay, which we will position within these bigger ones, and this is how we will manage it. And here, this is your wish.
Oh yes, those so beautiful.
Yeah, they are absolutely immense, amazing species. I love them with their orange, spot in the an inner side of the mouth. Yeah, this one is already a little bit fat. You see him.
Oh, he's getting used to captivity.
So well here. Yeah, they are so beautiful. Look at the colors. Yeah, it's the same like in Ranomafana, like what you have seen in the wild. They are absolutely amazing. Yeah, and look how they behave. Again, like I will not molest him too much. Yeah, I will let him go, but enjoy the view of these animals. Yeah, they are majestic. They're absolutely, that's my beloved species actually. And look again, they are mad. They are natural. Yeah, they open the mouth. I do not make friends with them. Yeah, I want them to stay as much as wild as possible. Look, he will maybe allow us to watch him a little bit more. Absolutely fabulous species with so majestic horns, and look the colors, the bright green with the yellow stripes, and the bluish white dotted area between the lower jaws. It's fantastic species. I love them. And if you want, I will show you also some females.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, cool. Or if we are here, just an intermezzo to show you that what I spoke about is true, but they get now into the shade. But anyway, look, this is a cage where we have an experiment having 3 females of Pardalis at one spot with 1 male. And when I went here about 1 hour ago, I could see all. And now the sun is high. I cannot see any. So let me try to find some of them for you. You see, they don't expose themselves to the sun.
Mhm.
They go into the shade. They find their places. And despite of the fact we have 4 animals in such a cage, we have difficulty to find them. So this is a female. Can you see her?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, in Pardalis, there are also lots of misconceptions and lots of myths. You know, people will tell you that this coloration is actually stressed one. Yeah. That if they are gravid, they are orange, of course, and if they have lots of black, yeah, and if they are angry, like what I make now, look how angry the lady is, yeah, that it means that they are stressed. Guys, that's not true. This is their normal behavior. Okay, this is how they make sure that the males understand they should not approach them. Yeah, and look, there's another female, also wonderful one, orange colored.
Okay.
Yeah, which is now, as you can see, in shade. Okay, this is also why it has no blackish coloration. Why? For the proper development of the eggs in gravid females, they need higher temperature than normal. So they use the black color to attract the beams of the sun and get quicker and more efficiently warmed up. Yeah. So let us not misinterpret their behavior in like being too picky. Yeah. Chameleons are not picky. We treat them not proper, and we still have lots of things to learn in order to make sure that they really thrive in our captive conditions. Let us see the female again.
Now, do
Again,
you
this is
notice
also an Ankarami bear. So I'm really hoping for having lots of nice offsprings of Ankarami bear, because it is actually my beloved color form of the panther chameleon, which is not as frequently seen in captivity as we would love to. And now I'll show you also something that I spoke about. Look, there is a male of Ankarami bear on the opposite side of the mesh. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is how they interact. Yeah. They can see each other, but they don't attack each other. There's somewhere there is a male, of course, as well. I do not know where he is now. Yeah. But even if they go on the mesh, yeah, it is a separation enough for them to feel safe and do not like attack or do not get nervous in front of each other. So let me find some females of Oshaugnesi for you.
Okay. When do you think that you would be starting to ship export?
Okay, so we plan to get the first exports done in about half a year from now. Okay, so you can see one more male actually of Oshagnes if you want. Look, can you see him?
Yes.
Yeah, this one is like more in the relaxed colors, but also like wonderful, actually quite huge male. I have to say, within this half a year, these animals tripled the size, tripled the body mass. Yeah, they really grow, they thrive here. And as you can see, like they do not love too much sun. Yeah, they
No.
live like in Ranomafana, on the forest edge, but they are like, I would say, more inner side of forest edge species, yeah, or even forest species, rather than, for instance, Pardalis, which is actually real forest edge species. And here again, you can see a wonderful female of the same kind. Can you see her?
Yep. There she is. Yeah.
Yeah. This is having eggs already. I guess she's so 1.5 months to go.
Okay.
Cool. So I hope I showed you what I promised. And when you asked also about this, like a research potential here and so on, I would like to preliminarily share one very interesting thing. Look, what you see here is I cut down 3 trees of banana because they were too big. They started to destroy our area here and our outer layer. But I keep them here because they are fabulous. And I hope I will now be able to show you for one reason. This type of plant is actually a nice microenvironment, and it is, I cleaned it too much now. It is giving actually a good environment for breeding of snails. You can see them here. Can you?
Yep, I can see them.
Yeah, snails.
Yeah.
Now I share a story that you know already, so you make me prove that I will tell you the same. Look, we have also cameras here, and because we have the luxury of really staying with the chameleons all the days around, and we can actually really focus on their behavior. If we need, we record it. If we need, we record it day and night and whatever. We found out a very specific and very strange behavior. Let's see one more gravid female of the Oshognes chameleon.
The perfect kind of female.
Yeah, wonderful one, huge one, yeah, healthy one, and full of eggs. So we have found out a very strange behavior here. We've got it on cameras, and our people said us, and because we have workers here that help us to maintain all this farm. To make the story short, in the early morning hours, chameleons do nothing. The myths that they drink dew are not true. They don't. They are so cold and so emotionless that before they even start looking for dew, most of the dew is evaporated, actually. So too late. So they wait until the fog is away, and then they start to move. They usually do not move up. They move to the side, to the nearest spot where they can actually bask. Yeah, so they do basking in the early morning, and they do exactly as we with Bill inform you for many years already. Yeah, they don't bask hours and hours. They bask really very short time. They bask not for basking. They bask for getting to the proper temperature they need for the functioning of the metabolism, and then they stop. Luckily, in the same time, actually, the air gets also to the optimal level, so that they do not need to bask anymore. They can actually thermoregulate by the convection from the warm surrounding air. But so then I expected them actually to get to some nice spot or start hunting or whatever. But we found out that actually a very consistent pattern that we observed in 6 out of the 12 species we keep here, okay, that they do something else. After they have basked enough, they do not move. Actually, they move, but they move down. All went down to the layer of about 1 meter high to almost the grass level. And they stayed there for about half an hour to maximum hour. And only after that, they moved up to the normal levels which they used to occupy, and start behaving normally, and then they bask a little bit before the sunset, and then they sleep on the beloved branch. So I said, what the hell is what they do? Why they go down? Why they go down? So we put cameras on. I took my computer, took a chair, sit down here in the cage, did some work on computer and watch them. What the heck they are doing? And we found out. It is very strange because it is a behavior which is very hard to observe and very hard to actually justify with any scientific methodologies. And you will find out how. They hunt for snails. All the species hunt proactively for snails. And you can imagine that it's not easy. We really have snails, I've showed you, yeah? And they are all around in the environment. Now, I asked myself, what is the purpose? So, of going down. Of course, the purpose of going down is simple. The snails are confined to the moist environment mostly, both in Madagascar as well as in Africa, as well as here in the tropical countries. There are snail species which are actually tree climbing, but they are very scarce. That's not you can rely on them. But there's lots of snails which are in the grass level. Now, in the nighttime, when it's quite moist, yeah, and they cannot see anything, they go on the vegetation and they land not only close to the ground, but they land even 1 meter high, 1.5 meter high. And once the temperature starts raising, the snails tend to do two things. Either they find themselves stranded and say, hey, I cannot make it to the grass. So they encapsulate them. They sit close to the stem and close even their opening with a specific lid, yeah, not to lose the moisture and then start sleeping over there. And the others, they tend with the highest speed they can, and it is not a big speed, they tend to go down. And this is exactly this half an hour to an hour where the chameleons know somehow, yeah, in their genetic memory, they have it stored that this is the time when they can find them and they go down and they hunt them. Now, why we did not know? It is simple, guys. If you eat a snail, yeah, it takes about 20 minutes in the stomach to get it dissolved fully. Snail is what? Snail is actually protein and the shell, which is CaCO3. So the HCl acid, yeah, in the stomach immediately dissolves it, yeah, and there is no trace. So even if you flush the stomach of the chameleons, more than half an hour after they have eaten, yeah, you find no snails. The only theoretically foundable material is, which I found in 40 years in the fecal samples once, is the so-called radula, which is a specific a tooth-like organ in which with which they scratch the plant material to swallow it afterwards. Yeah, but it is made of chitin, and the problem. Our friend shows us. Look, yeah, we have snails like this. Can you see it on my hand?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
All around this plot. We did not breed them here. We just let them be here in the natural way. So you cannot identify it. So this is why all the fecal samples that use traditional methodologies, yeah, seeing the remnants of the eaten animals, do not detect snails. Yeah. And why the radula, despite of the fact it's from chitin, is usually not detectable, because if you do it in wild animals or almost wild animals like here, which are very strong and can digest very efficient way, they actually digest chitin also. Yeah, they dissolve it to an extent that you can find only heads of wasps and some beetles, and the hard wings of beetles in the feces. All the rest, chitinous parts, are digested fully. Uh, uh, it was so funny. I had these two PhD students here, and one of them was specifically studying the parasite fauna and the content of the gut of the chameleons. Yeah, and I said, okay, without saying telling you anything, what have you found? So he reported, yeah, chaffers, small other ciconid beetles. I have seen about 5 types of wasps of a size from 1 centimeter to 3 centimeters. I found even bees and so on. I found wings of butterflies. I say, and? I said, that's it. I say, come on. Every day they eat crickets. I said, but there's no crickets in the samples. The efficiency of the chameleons that are kept natural way, the efficiency of their metabolism is so strong that they dissolve even things that we are very often seeing even with bare eyes in the feces in the captivity. Yeah, so you cannot see it in the feces. You cannot see it in the flushed intestines. There's now like new method that can actually analyze the DNA content of the gut, and this would very likely and will very likely detect the snails in the stomach and in the intestines of the chameleons with this new methodology. But the classical ones fail identifying it. And of course, it is not that they eat them in huge amounts. Yeah, they do not find them in huge amounts, but they do eat them proactively. Parsons do it. Oshaugness's do it. Panthers do it. Even for the dry biotop species like ostalets and verrucosus do it. Yeah, and now the question is, why? What is the purpose? Why they hunt such a strange thing, which is not the typical insect which moves and so on? Yeah, guys, if you let's be a little bit like now light tempered. If someone if anyone says, hey, let us go and eat some oysters, what is the idea that comes up to your mind? What are oysters said to be good for?
For
Aphrodisiacs.
mating.
They are good for men. Yeah.
Yes.
They are aphrodisiacs. It is not a belief. It is not how to say, a legend. It is true. Why? Because very funnily and very, very interestingly, the mollusks, specifically actually the gastropods, it means snails and slugs, have a body composition which is actually wearing so much of substances, of microelements and vitamins, which are crucial for reproduction. It means for libido and for construction of the proper hormones, that no other food in the wild is alike. Let us list at least the most important ones. First, there is a lot of magnesium in them. Yeah, calcium and magnesium, lots of. Second, there is lots of copper. The snails use not hemoglobin but hemocyanin as a main like colored substance for binding oxygen from the air, and this hemocyanin is actually greenish blue color, not red like the blood cells of mammals and including us. It is blue, and the active substance, active microelement, is not iron, but it's copper. And copper is again very crucial for reproductive wellness. Then we have zinc. Yeah, the highest zinc content in any like food item for chameleons is slugs and other gastropods. Selenium, it's actually one of the very few very few food items that can provide traceable amounts of selenium. And this is about like the main micro elements that really like are known to contribute substantially to the wellness and sexual health and sexual metabolism, including all the hormonal levels tied to reproductive phase or reproduction as such. And if we speak about vitamins, let me make it short. There are two vitamins that they really contain in a traceable amounts, which is vitamin A, which is one of the very few natural resources where the chameleons can get vitamin A. Otherwise, they get full of these carotenoids, and we know they cannot transfer them to retinol, to the performed vitamin A. But what slugs do it. They do this job for chameleons. So once the chameleon eats the snails, he eats a processed vitamin A. And the same fits for vitamin E, which is also very well known to have a significant influence on the health of chameleons, specifically in their reproductive phase.
Have you seen them eat slugs?
I've not seen them eat slugs.
Okay.
No. Only snails, which does not say they don't eat slugs. Yeah, it's still like quite incidental. We need to make more, but I think the preference will be anyway snails, for the reason that they have much more calcium and much more magnesium, while slugs do not have this houses, the shells, and so they are by definition a little bit less nutritive in that respect.
Okay, Peter, we have it on the best authority that you actually have some Wilsey Petri there that you should show.
Oh, yes. Petri, I will not be able to show you, but let us try as a final to see the Wilseys, which again do tremendously well here. We have already 2 clutches, and the females are gravid again, and they do so well. And frankly, this is a species which I love because we do not need to feed them at all. I show you one more trick that we do, which is like very obvious, and people that work with small species or with lots of babies know these tricks. I will show you what we do actually. We take some bottles like here, fill them with ananas or with jackfruit or whatever, and let the banana flies come in and reproduce inside. So what we then do, we just like open the cage, position it like on the wall, and then they eat all the flies that go out. Now I can show you one very interesting chameleon, which is here. Can you see him?
Yes. Is that a major or
It's
viridis?
major. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Actually, it's not major. It's major. Yeah.
Sorry.
But correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. It is the close relative to lateralis, and he was now interested into a fly. Look, which sits here. This flew away. Okay, so we were lucky with major. The females are usually very nicely hidden. Where is the female? One of the females sits right here, and she is. Can you see her? Yeah.
Yep.
She's black because she's gravid, and she's now a little bit basking between the foliage. Good, and the remnant females are somewhere here. Yeah. Okay, let us see. Let's try whether we see the Wilseys. It is actually quite hot for them now. You tend to go down and hide, but I have seen them. Okay. Look. Can you see the female here?
Yes.
They are so beautiful. I love them. Absolutely. It is such a beautiful species. Both males and females are really, really very, very nice. And this is a gravid little female. They do so well here. These are actually species. This is a species which is quite nice and active. And if you deserve it, I will show even a male.
Ooh. All right, everybody. We need to deserve it. Now, oh, there we go.
There we go.
Now, Peter, what is the difference between a Wilsey and a Petri?
Well, they are different.
Yeah. Okay.
let me see. Oh, I can see a Petri here. I will show you. Look, this is the next door.
They look so similar.
Here we have a Petri. Can you see him?
Yes. Well, yeah, we were seeing. Yeah, there he is.
Yes, there he is. Yeah. So basically, the main difference is they live in completely different areas. Yeah.
The main difference is everything.
Yeah. So, look, we put one of the Petris. We need to be very careful with Petris because they are prone to jumping. Wait. We'll try to make one of the males calm, which does not happen. I put it on my hand. So, can you see it?
Yes.
So this is a Petri, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, there is a. Now
there he goes.
Let us be reasonable. We put him back to the cage, and I will explain you. Look, the difference between these two species is the Wilsies. They live in the middle elevations of the central east of Madagascar, okay? And Petris live in the high mountains of the northwest. It means in Montagne-d'Amber and surrounding areas. You hear me?
Peter, your camera is off.
Okay. There's something wrong. Let me fix it. But you still hear me, right?
Yes, we can still hear you.
Oh, now you see me even. Okay. So again, the Wilsey is on the east, and the Petri is on the northwest. Wilsey is a forest species from the middle layer or the middle elevation forest in the east, and Petri actually is a species that lives from about 700 meters high to 1,200 meters high in Montagne-d'Amber and surrounding massifs. Yeah? So it's a montane species, and it is less confined to the forest. It's more a forest edge species. They have tiny difference in morphology. They have different shaped horns in males, and they have differently colored females. Otherwise, they look really quite similar. The Petris usually do not have this rusty brown tops of heads, yeah, and Petris have more flat and more, how to say, like more flat and less sharp nasal protuberances, horns, yeah, while the Wilsies have them quite sharp, yeah, and shorter, yeah. It is they are very good species. There's no doubt that there's they are different species, but they are quite close to each other.
Okay, wonderful.
Good. So, I think for now, so not to like oversaturate you with all this. From my side, it would be proactively all. What I would like, of course, is to feel some of your feedback. And some more questions if you have, of course.
All right, everybody. Now is the chance.
You know, the design of the farm is also, this is my assistant, Tuyen. Yeah.
Hello.
She's very nice. We have here, for instance, a living fence made of this plant that you also know, or where it is. Yeah, here. It's lantana, exactly.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is again a sign, we are at the exact proper environment, because this there are like plants which are typical for this elevations and so on. Same this one. If you go to Madagascar, yeah, you definitely will see these plants everywhere. Yeah, it's different species, but it's same genus. Yeah, and we use these plants to be here naturally, to first provide a little bit of shade. But as you know, lantana is prone to bloom all year around and attract lots of insects. So if the insects come here, they come also inside of the cages.
Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so everybody, now's the time for questions. If you have any questions for Peter, put it in the comments. So, Peter, we have our Personii, Pardalis, O'Shaughnessy, O'Shaughnessy, Ustuletae, Varicosis, Lateralis, Petri, Wilsey. We have 4 more unaccounted for species, unaccounted for.
Yes.
Or
I will not tell you which ones.
You what?
I will show next time.
Okay. All right. That's okay.
I will show you next time. Yeah. They are partly not here in this facility. Yeah.
Okay.
We have another one.
All right. James is asking.
By the way, I did not. Please.
Oh, what are the temperatures right now, and what is your humidity?
Okay. So let me see whether we have a correct reading here. Yes, we have. Look, the humidity is 35% now, and the temperature is 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he wants to know when can
we have now the driest moment of the day. Okay. In the cages, this is outside of the cages. In the cages, the temperature will be same because the air is same, but the humidity will be a little bit higher. In the night time, we have now 17 to 18 degrees Celsius. It means it is 65 plus minus, right? And 100% humidity because we are in the fog from about 6 in the afternoon until sometimes even 10 to 11 in the morning. Yeah, and the fog is of course not steady; it is coming and going, as you see even above us. Yeah, now the clouds are about 200-300 meters above us, and of course, in the night time, yeah, the clouds come down and build the fog in this environment.
Okay. Geraldine would like to know any concern of the plants becoming invasive there.
Chameleons or plants?
Plants.
Plants. We use only plants which are approved in Vietnam for being either native here, approved by the highest authority, yeah, or which are approved as crops officially by the official places in Vietnam. We are in a very close cooperation with the forestry department of the state and with the CITES authority, with the scientific CITES authority, and with the animal health and veterinary sciences department. So everything what we do here is approved and consulted with them so that they give really a stamp on it that this is correct, we can use it. Yeah, we really have a very big demand on quality and on preciseness and on legality of everything, because we do not want to harm anything. On contrary, like when we discussed with them, for instance, yeah, we before we started to design this farm, they said, okay, but we will require that for every single species, we will have the cages of minimal size, 1 meter by 1 meter by 2 meters. And we said, yes, we will do. We will do it very luckily. What if we do 3 by 3 by 3 meters? Yeah. And they were, of course, very lucky. Yeah. Then we discussed every single plant species, which is not like the birds bring it here. Yeah. Whether it is okay, we get approved the concept, and we use just what is normal and approved and allowed here.
All right. James is wondering, do you have inspectors that visit your facility?
Oh, yes. They actually, and this is also a very, very funny thing, they sometimes come announced, yeah, so we can prepare. But we even agreed with them, and we insisted, yeah, that they can come anytime. Yeah. So our workers, I'm here, or Tuan is here, or any of the like competent people is here to lead them through the facility. Yeah. And they know it because all parts of the facility are on maps, are described with their functionality, and are described what chameleon species are to be supposed to be found here. Yeah. But even if the normal workers are there, they are instructed. If guys come with this kind of label, of this kind of paper, they are allowed to let them in and do not interact by any other way but with helping them to see it. Yeah. And
Okay.
this is actually something that I'm very happy about, because the official places used both approaches on the course of the many months we are here. Yeah, they came and then announced that they will come, so we were here, and they came without any announcement. Yeah, and now we are in very good talks and very good relationship, for instance, with the CITES authority and with the Academy of Sciences of Vietnam, which said, finally we have a partner on whom we can rely on. So we consider, and we are starting projects with them focused on involving students of the Vietnamese universities to get their masters and PhDs based on our farm, and they want us to help them to manage some of the projects which are directed to rare and vulnerable species of Vietnam. Similar way, in a way of like our advisory, because of like my even formal qualifications, and in cooperation with us. Yeah, so they say, finally we have someone that is really like so reliable that we have no doubt that you do great job. So we want to give you the opportunity to do even more.
All right. Kanoa would like to know, is there a specific species of snail that is there? It
No,
matters.
there is. Yeah, we have made an analysis. There is about 5 typical normal snail species which are home in this area. Yeah, and they grow to the size of about 1.5 centimeters maximum.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, James is wondering, how often do you stay there? Is this going to be your new home? Are you still a world traveler?
Well, uh, good question, and actually, both is the correct answer. Yeah, I am a world traveler, and I can tell you that I will definitely travel a lot. I will go to Madagascar this year at least once, very likely 2 times. I'm traveling here around, but basically, I'm now based here in Vietnam, and most of the time I'm spending here in the highlands with more or less in touch with this facility. For your imagination, I spent in Czech Republic in the last year where I'm from, it's my home country, 2.5 weeks. Yeah, all the rest either traveling around or being here, managing and studying and writing stuff and so on. Yeah.
All right, Peter. Finally, before we let you go, you did say something about there being a special creature that you wanted to tell us about.
Was it?
Did I?
This is what I did already. Yeah, I meant
Okay,
with
okay.
that, I meant the snail,
Oh,
as
okay. All right, there
as
we
the
go.
focus. Yeah, this was it. This was it actually. Yeah, the special creature is the snail, and while you name it, so to make it very clear, is this is nothing new. We knew that some chameleons, for instance, the Jackson's chameleons,
Yes.
do eat snails. Yeah, we have occasional observations from captivity mainly that they eat snails, be it Calyptratus, be it panther chameleon, or be it recently Craig Darbin wrote me that he has, I think, even a footage of Parsons eating a snail. So we knew that that is an integral part of the diet. I'm quite convinced once I did the research and I saw them being really systematically eating snails, that the importance of snails and the content of their bodies specifically for the reproduction is more important than we ever thought. And this is exactly where I'm extremely happy to have this facility and to be the privileged and honored to spend the time with my beloved chameleons, because many things that you know that I brought to the community and to the knowledge of chameleon keepers and scientists was actually from observations in the wild. But here it is much more intense, and it's almost like in the wild, but much more controlled. I know the animals by names. Yeah? I know where they sit. I know them physically, and I can do repeated long-term experiments and observations, which will have some impact on what we are doing, because we too are committed to the area of improving the conditions of chameleons in the captivity, of making it ultimately similar to the vital factors in the captivity, like what they face in the wild. And this is, I think, one of the very few opportunities how I can facilitate this process through myself and through my ability and faith and of course also insanity to spend so much time with chameleons, and through making this facility also home for researchers, students, and other people that can come here and spend time and then do the observation as such. And I will use this opportunity, and I mean it. Yeah, if you pay the ticket to come here, yeah, you have where to spend any time you want. We have some facilities where we can host you, and anyone who will come here with heart burning for chameleons and the will to observe them and then to learn about them more is more than welcome to come here and be hosted here and then be allowed to do whatever we agree for the good of the chameleons and for the good of mankind.
Okay, so we've got 3 questions that we can close this off with. One is about the snails. Snails are known to carry parasites. How do you manage?
Yeah.
And the second question is Martin, who wasn't here for when you talked about parasites before. How are parasites managed at the facility? So maybe talk about that.
Yes. So the parasites of snails. We know that the main concern is actually the lungworms that are transmitted mainly to mammals. Yeah, they are known from Europe, they are known from Americas, and they are still not researched enough to be sure that they are transmittable to reptiles. There is some suspicion. There is still a gray area of that. So there is a reason to be concerned. Yeah, we are not, and I tell you why. Because our chameleons eat only snails which are actually grown on our facility, which by definition are animals that cannot come in touch with anything that can infest them. Okay, so they are actually captive raised within the boundary of this facility. This first. Second, once we found out they eat them, I really made lots of smears and lots of sections of the snails and tried to find out whether they do not wear parasites. They don't. Yeah. So this is why I allow that without any limitations. I do not take any measures. On contrary, within the facility, yeah, I even create corners like I showed you. I cut the banana trees, and let it be there, because this is a good breeding ground on a controlled environment within the facility, so that they are very likely, not 100%, but very likely parasite free. There is so far no research on them here in Vietnam. We will conduct them these types of research to be absolutely sure. Now we are almost sure. Okay. And to answer systematically the issue of the parasitology, look, Of course, it is not so easy to find the fecal samples of the chameleons in such huge cages, but we do. It is because we see the chameleons at least 2 times a day. Every single one. We report on where they are. We observe the females because they get pregnant. They do not get pregnant. They lay the eggs and so on. So we really watch the chameleons in such a detail that we know where they are. And there's one thing I do not say that we get every dropping. We very likely do not get every dropping. Yeah, but we know where they sit. Yeah. So in the morning you need to know where they sit, and then look just down, and you find, based on mostly not on the feces, but based on the urates, you will find out where the dropping is, and we collect them. For your information, I had a colleague here for 3 weeks, and within these 3 weeks, in 300 observed animals, he was capable of fixing 632 samples. It means from every single chameleon within the course of about 3 weeks, yeah, he was able to secure 2 samples from each animal and more. Yeah, so this is how we do. We also, of course, in some cases did also blood samples, and we found out that actually the infesting of the level of the chameleons is relatively high. It is, I would say, about 70% of the chameleons were found positive for at least one species of parasite. Okay, but only in 4 cases we have found such a invasion of the parasites, and in all cases it was coccidians, yeah, that we were forced to treat them. Otherwise, you find one isospora in a sample. There's nothing that you should treat. Or you will find like 2 oocysts of some intestine roundworms. It's nothing that you should treat. Yeah, and the logic is, while we had really discussions with like, I would say, world best parasitologists of reptiles, and specifically of chameleons. By chance, it's my one of my best friends, Professor Modry from Czech Republic, and we agreed that the way how this is managed actually breaks all the cycles of the 2 host parasites. So 2 host parasites simply are either infesting the chameleons and they simply die and they get rid of, yeah, or they keep them, they produce some of the stages, but because of the penetrability of the environment, yeah, and actually permanent water run from top to the down, because all this fogging causes actually, yeah, draining of water. Plus, we are now at the beginning of about the beginning of the rainy season. Once there will be rainy season, we will see rain at least 5 consecutive hours per day, and sometimes 2 weeks consecutive rains. So this all is actually flushed down, and there is actually very little to almost no reason to be afraid of reinvasion. Yeah, because the parasites simply go down and die, or get to the groundwater and then got flushed away. We have not get any of the parasites that can last long. So we have not get, for instance, cryptosporidians. Yeah, not a single one.
That's good. So
yeah, so to make it round, we pay big attention to it. Yeah, we try to be reasonable. We definitely do nothing preventive. Yeah, like to say, oh, panacure to all. No. Yeah, but we monitor it, and we are in touch with the best specialists in the world to have it under control.
Okay. Well, folks, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I want to say, Peter, thank you so much for inviting us on this tour. It was incredible. This is worth staying up for. So.
Thank you so much. It was joy and privilege to share. I was reluctant to share before, because I wanted to have it done and have like collected
Yep.
like enough of information and evidence so that it is shareable. Now it is on the air, and I hope that you enjoyed it and you get some nice insights of what are the options, what are the potentials, and what is maybe also the direction where we can go in the captive management of chameleons if the money and resources and so on allow.
Yeah. We will be watching what you do with great interest. So, all right, everybody. I will say good night. Have a great night. And Peter, have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much.
All
Have
right.
a good
Bye,
have a good sleep.
everybody.
Bye for now.